as soon as she would look at me back in the eye, I'd like look away. And then she'd like look away and then I stare at her. You know, so it was so weird. And my dad was like, yo, you act like such a weirdo. And I was like, oh no, Beyonce thinks
It's
I'm a weirdo.
Beyonce. Like, Dad, give me a break.
No, but this is my first impression.
What's up, you guys? I'm here hanging out with this queen, Zendaya. We're here because she's part of Verizon's #WeNeedMore campaign, which is all about inspiring kids to go into, the science fields, the technology fields, engineering, mathematics. So I want to know, I know this is kind of personal for you in a way because both of your parents have educator backgrounds. Yeah. So what inspired you to become a part of this campaign?
Well, usually anything really involving young people is always immediately something that I'm attracted to because I feel very passionate about the youth. But I think on top of that, coming from two parents who are teachers and especially a mom who taught in an underprivileged community in a school where the funding or whatever didn't allow her to do certain things. She had to go on her own and get technology and things and computers for her classroom, which I got to witness firsthand, how it was able to help and how it was able to open eyes of students. It was able to give them kind of a different view on not only just their education, because then a kid is able to I guess you could say learn how to do something in a different way. So not only are you able to like make an essay, which we all write essays, but now you can make a movie about it. You know what I mean? You can edit your own little movie or maybe do like a podcast and record your voice and make a slideshow. There's so many other options. And I think that alone, it allows not them to just be creative, but it also allows them to think, hey, wait, there's people do this? Like, wait a minute, like those movies that I watched, like somebody's editing that, or it really again opens their eyes to other jobs.
I love that. And I'm happy you brought up that there are so many different roles for people to get into.
Yeah.
And oftentimes those behind the scenes roles are unfortunately overlooked a lot of times because people do want to be the star and this and that. Mm-hmm. But it's like, can we talk about how important that is for people to really, recognize those behind the scenes people? Mm-hmm. And, shout out to your videographers, shout out to your sound mixers, engineers, because they really are all part of the well-oiled machine.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's not even just the idea of, I want to be a star, but it's, I didn't know that was a job. You know what I mean? If a kid doesn't know that being a graphic designer is a thing, or being, again, sound engineer. There was a kid today that came in when we got to spend some time with the kids and, go into the studio, and he gravitated towards the board and everything that was happening. He was very interested, and he was like, I asked him, I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, honestly, I've been asking myself that question. I don't really know, but after being here today, I think I want to do this. I want to work here. And I was like, that's so cool. That's the whole point. That's why we're doing this. Mission accomplished.
Okay, now you are an actress, a singer, a dancer, all-around queen. She does it all.
Oh, thanks.
But I want to know, if you weren't doing what you're doing right now, what other career do you think you would have pursued?
I would be a teacher. I'd be a teacher just like my parents because that's just I love working with young people. I think it's very gratifying in a way. I think it's something that makes me feel really good when you're able to teach somebody something. I remember when I was younger, I would always kind of go up to my mom's school, and if I was older than a grade, I would go to the younger grades and try to help those teachers, because they often had big classes with a lot of kids, and it's sometimes hard to cater to all of the kids' needs because that's often what happens in public schools is there's a lot of kids, right?
Right.
So for me, I would maybe, I guess you could call it volunteer, but help out in the third grade class or help out in this class or this class. And then once I got old enough and I was like in 7th grade, I could help out in my mom's classroom because she was a 5th grade teacher. So when I was able to do that, I found it so fun. It made me feel good being able to go in there. I remember there was a girl that was younger than me. I teach her the alphabet, and to me that was like so cool that this girl, I could be part of her learning experience, you know what I'm saying? And because I was young, it was like we were talking to each other more like on a peer level, and so and otherwise she wouldn't have been able to learn because the other kids were ahead of her she didn't know English very well. So it was like how that kid would have been left behind and be confused because they were still working on their alphabet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got to kind of help and do that, and that was really inspiring for me and always has been. So definitely a teacher.
Can I get Zendaya as my teacher, please? Thank you. You wear so many different hats. You do so many different things. And when I say hats, I mean that literally and figuratively because you be killing it on the red carpet.
Thank you.
And you have a line, Daya by Zendaya. Yeah. I love it's so dope, girl. It really is great. I want to know, what's your favorite part of the behind the scenes process of developing that line?
What's cool is, it's definitely a learning experience for me because it's something new. There's one thing to wear clothes and there's another to make them. It's a different process. It's a different beast entirely. So we're just learning. Law and I, my stylist, we're just figuring it out. And we are co-collaborators and creators, not only just of the things that I've done in my career, but now in this arena. And so we've just been kind of learning, really just how this whole thing works because it's so different from anything that I've ever really done before. Because there's always that balance. There's always the balance of like what we want to do and we want to create the most, luxurious feeling and expensive things, but an affordable price point. So then there's that battle. Then there's the battle of, making sure we have inclusive sizing and making sure we have something for everyone. And, so it's all, just figuring that out and learning how to make it all work and again, achieve what, at the end of the day, what we think the brand should be.
Well, you're doing a good job because
you.
I go on there and I'm like, I want that, and everything.
Thank you.
Now I have to ask, because as an avid Beehive member, I feel it is my civic duty.
Absolutely.
What was it like breathing Queen Bee's air
while
filming Lemonade?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
She is obviously the queen. I have been obsessed with her since birth.
Forever.
I love her. And so to meet her, honestly, was probably one of the very few times I was genuinely stuck, because I've met a lot of people, I've done a lot of cool things, and that doesn't happen to me. But that's one of those people that I've been waiting to meet. I think that's only happened to me a couple times where I've gotten a little weird in front of people, because I feel like I'm pretty cool, I'm pretty laid back or whatever. You don't see my emotions, but when I meet specific people, I get a little
shook.
Just shook. I mean, act just a dork. I just act like a complete idiot. And so when she came in there, I was just I couldn't look at her in the eye.
Heck no.
I don't know. It was just if it just, she doesn't look real.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
She's not real.
She's not even real. So I was looking at her, and then as soon as she would look at me back in the eye, I'd look away, and then she'd look away, and then I stare at her. So it was so weird. And my dad was like, "Yo, you act like such a weirdo," and I was like, "Oh no, Beyonce thinks
it's
I'm a weirdo."
Beyonce. Dad, give me a break.
No, but it's my first impression. Yeah. I don't want her to think I'm weird, but. I think she thinks I'm cool now because I made up for it later.
Yeah.
Because I saw her later on in the day, and I made sure it was extra cool. I was yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Used
so
words.
Be here, whatever.
Worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Oh my gosh, living vicariously through you. Okay, so I want to play a quick little game.
Okay.
It's called Hot or Cold. I'm gonna give you some trends and topics.
Okay.
And if you like it, you say it's hot, and if you don't like it, it's cold.
Okay. Cool.
If you're feeling generous, you can say lukewarm.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sounds good.
Okay. So pantsuits. How do we feel?
Pantsuits are always hot, especially on girls. It's just cool to see a girl in a suit.
It's airy, and you can do splits, right?
That too.
Okay, have you heard of a bandwagon fan?
Yeah.
Right, where people jump on. Okay, so how do we feel about the trend of people being bandwagon Raiders or Warriors fans?
It's whack. It's cold. So whack. Because people have tried to convince me or to tell me that I was a bandwagon fan. Let me tell you something. Born and raised in Oakland, California. Get this.
Preach.
Was a Warrior fan before they were popping in these streets, okay?
Tell them.
When they were losing every game, but I was still there. I still went to them, to all the things. Same with the Raiders. When we weren't doing too hot, I still wore my Raiders gear. So,
see?
I'm just saying, be about it, team, and be about it.
I can't talk because I was definitely a bandwagon fan.
She's like, I'm one of those people, I apologize.
I'm sorry. How do we feel about diss tracks?
Diss tracks. Apparently that's the hot thing. So, I try to stay positive, and I'm not trying to get dissed myself, so I'm going to stay neutral on that subject.
Smart.
And not get
Smart
involved.
woman.
I played the fifth.
Okay, you survived. You survived the game. Last question. You were on Dancing with the Stars, and our girl Normani Kordei from Fifth Harmony.
She's going to win.
She's going to kill it. But
She's
also paired with Val, and you were paired with Val, so I want to know, what advice do you have for her on how to survive?
How to survive Val. I feel like he's nicer to people now. when it was my season, I don't think he was as nice.
Yeah.
But I would say number one thing is to her is make sure he eats, because he gets really grumpy when he doesn't eat and he just keeps rehearsing, and then that's not good, because then you're gonna it's gonna be a problem.
Avoid the hangry.
So definitely make sure he eats and takes breaks. And just have fun. Just have fun, because that show is so stressful, and it really does. It looks like a lot of fun, but it's like really stressful, and it's a lot to take in, and there's a lot of pressure, and it's live, and it's every week, and you're working so hard. So just don't forget to enjoy it and soak up the whole experience, because it goes by very fast.
Normani, take notes. We want you to win.
She's gonna win. It's a wrap. Done.
It's happening.
Amazing.
It's happening. Zendaya, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my God, so fun hanging out with this one. You guys support her, buy all her clothes, and check out #WeNeedMore.
Thank you.
Click to the left to relive some of the best TV show crossover episodes ever, or click over to the right for 6 times Zendaya was wise beyond her years.